Welcome everybody to the Minnesota Twins franchise. Another live stream today on MLB The Show 18 as we are going to continue spring training. We're getting some more at-bats in with our new hitters, some more innings in with our young pitchers as we get the third season of the series ready to get underway. Wonderful, an echo to start off here. I love that when there's an echo in the first 20 seconds. How's everyone doing today? I wasn't really planning to stream, but I thought I'd see if it was going to work better today, and I think it will. I did do some tests before this. I hope that we can get a solid MLB stream today so we can get closer to the new year. Yeah, hopefully no lag, but I can't be 100% certain. A lot of you are wondering about the Kalispell Dynasty. The prospects are done. They're getting into the game. I'll have that done tonight. And that means I can start playing the new season. I'll be working on week 1, maybe even tomorrow afternoon. I definitely want to get on to the new season, check out our new quarterback situation with Justin Colbert and Brandon Warren. There are some interesting things going on in all of my series right now on the main channel, and I really want to get Kalispell's new season underway as well as the new year of the Twins franchise. Tried to make Kalispell an Out of the Park 19, still trying to figure out how to recolor logos. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do in Out of the Park Baseball, which, by the way, I have a new video coming out today on that game. I posted Matt Pierre earlier today, but that's not the only video on my second channel. Out of the Park Baseball is coming up after my stream. So, here's what's gone down in spring training so far. Essentially, our newest additions here, Nelson Cruz and Paul Goldschmidt, have provided so much pop to our lineup. I hit multiple home runs with both players in the live stream last time, and then in the simming they got even more. Nelson Cruz has 7, and after last year where we dipped in home run numbers, I think we'll definitely be on the rise this season. As far as Josh Harrison goes, his average has been very solid. The new additions have done pretty well. We've seen Dallas Keuchel kind of struggle a little bit. There were, I think, 1 or 2 rough outings, but hopefully we finish strong today. We're not going to end spring training necessarily today. I'll probably still play some on my own, but we'll at least put a big dent in the rest of the schedule. So we have a matchup here against the Red Sox. I think I'll skip that one to play the game against the, I almost said Buccaneers, the Rays. I'd like to see us play against Chris Archer and get Dallas Keuchel back on the mound. Just want to see what on earth happened here. A 6-run 4th inning. We gave up 5 home runs in this game. And who gave up all those runs? Steven Gonzalez. So it just continues to get even more difficult to find who our starting 5 will be this year. It's sadly not a debate because of so many players playing well. It's because so many players are struggling. We're going to play some more today. And are there any players I want to get involved? I really want to see more Nick Gordon. I really liked playing with him so far. Yunel Escobar's a veteran, so I'm not worried about his spring at-bats. And then for Willie Ordonez, he can play third base. I think I'd like to see him play third in this game. Not sure how much of this one in particular will play, but if it's like last episode, we went through, like, 4 innings or so in these games. So, welcome everybody. I'll get to more of the questions now that the stream is introducted and we are underway. Say hi to Carson, please. Hi, Carson. There is no other video coming to the channel today. There's just stuff on the second channel that's going to be posted.
Between the Minnesota Twins and the Tampa Bay Rays.
One's already up and one is to come. I'm working on Kalispell stuff and the spring training here now. So a little delay in videos these last couple days, but it'll be back. I'll get Kalispell stuff wrapped up tonight, and then I'll be working on all main channel stuff tomorrow. So Charlie Blackmon up first. Maybe he's a leadoff hitter this year. Ideally, he wouldn't be. I'd rather have Buxton lead off, but it's going to come down to who's playing better at the dish. Blackmon through the middle. How do you think the Twins season is going to go in real life? I think they're going to be really good, and they're going to challenge for the division title. I think they're going to have a similar number of wins to last season, but it's like the difference between 80 and 90 is such a huge difference that really defines the caliber of team. It's interesting. They win 84 games last year, and to say they win 90 this year, like those 6 games are a big deal. I don't know if they'll be 6 games better, but I think they'll be in the playoff hunt, certainly in the division hunt all the way through. But it should be very competitive between them and Cleveland. Are we going to see some Jake Reed today? I'll definitely need to get him involved after ignoring that last time around. Would Jose Bautista be a good fit with the Atlanta Braves? In real life? I know Bautista's a free agent right now, and he's coming off a really low average season. I'm not taking off. I'm not trying to steal in spring. It doesn't matter.
Blackmon, base runner at first with 1 out.
All right, 2-0 here to Paul Goldschmidt. Oh, and that's going high and hard out to right center field. Goodbye off the scoreboard. So we started out last stream early with a Goldschmidt home run. There's another one, his 6th of the spring.
A 2-run home run off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt as the Twins have taken.
He gave me a meatball 2-0. 27 Super Yankees says, Twins prediction 88 and 74 at the second wild card. Barrios improves his consistency, but having Fernando Rodney as their closer will cost them some games. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to have Rodney be the closer all year. Jake Reed didn't make the 25-man roster. I'm trying to think of who's supposed to be the other closer.
Fouled away.
But, yeah, I could definitely see a couple weak spots in the bullpen costing them some games. I think 88 and 74 is really reasonable. I'd like to see them be like 10 games above 500. So I'm looking for at least 86 wins.
Try and tempt him with one in the dirt, but he'll hold back here. It's 1-2.
Tigers rebuild. They are the second worst team in the major leagues. I've thought about doing a rebuild on my second channel. Oh man, I didn't see that coming out of his hand very well. I'm still trying to sort through what my second channel should have for baseball this year, because it doesn't seem like Road to the Show or Diamond Dynasty are really going to be big hits there. I think my bread and butter is obviously more team-oriented series, so I might need to see if there's something I could do on the show. Oh wow. But I'm doing Out of the Park Baseball right now, which had a tremendous response in my first video, and so I have another one coming today. That's a half-hour-long video with a lot of action in it.
Decided to go with a fastball there on 0-2, but what he's trying to do with that pitch is to expand the strike zone. Maybe you get a guy to offer at it, but at the very least, it helps.
Will there be a preseason video on this? Yeah, I'll put together a spring training video with the highlights from last stream, this stream, and then I'll obviously play a few games on my own to grab some more highlights, especially of players that I don't get enough footage of in the streams. So that was a weak hit to end the inning, but we start out pretty well, don't we, with the Paul Goldschmidt scoreboard slam. Super Mega Baseball 2, yes. I've got to keep an opening on my second channel for me to do a big series on there. I did like 165 episodes in my first Super Mega Baseball series. There's still a chance I add more before 2 is announced, but I haven't really played it since Madden dropped. Can you make a video on how to make MLB The Show franchise fun? I made a video just kind of talking generally about franchise and how to keep it fun. If you've not seen that video, you should check it out. I don't know the exact title, but it's in the last couple months about how to keep franchise fun and how it can be the most fun mode that you can enjoy in these games, and I do believe that.
And the
For a lot of
changeup
people,
just
some
missed
really
the
prefer the
inside corner.
online components, and they just, if they're not competing against people, they're not having fun, and that's completely reasonable.
And it's fouled away.
I think a lot of it depends on what got you into sports games. If your first introduction was playing like head-to-heads on Madden or something like that, you're probably going to gravitate toward multiplayer. But for me, I started out in franchise, and I think in many cases we're biased towards whatever we experienced first.
And a changeup
There we go.
swung on
Keiko
this
gets
for
the big
first down.
strikeout there with the change.
One thing to know is not all strikeouts are created equal. Right there, he goes down on strikes, but he
Gotta
really
see that
made
ERA
guy
go
come out.
down. I'd like to see him end up somewhere in the 4s by the end of spring. I don't think he'll have the time to get it down to a 3 anything.
And going down on 3 or 4 pitches.
You should do a fantasy draft in MLB for a second channel. I've been thinking about that for almost a week.
1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Hard hit at
There we
first.
go, hard.
Leaned
Oh no,
in.
we're not going to get the
Now
double
make a
play or
notice
maybe any
and
play.
look to first instead.
Whoops.
And the throw is not going to be in time as he's able to reach base safely. He's set and the
Corey
pitch.
Dickerson now.
Fastball here, and this is softly hit.
Yeah, I think a fantasy draft series could be fun, and maybe I could still create like JR Battle, who won the poll for which pitcher I should make.
Pause and the 0-2 freezes him.
Oh, the
Strike out
front
looking.
door slider.
It's
Nasty.
never a good look to strike out looking, but it's way worse when you do it with a guy in scoring position. Those are the times you really want to see a guy battle and at least put the ball in play.
Evan Longoria is in with 2 away. As he
No
takes the
ETA
ball
yet
1-0.
on the next Bears franchise
Fastball
video.
down near the
I've
shoot
been
tops. Longoria
worried more about Kalispell and this game with the show being brand new. I want to get the spring training complete up on the channel, and I want opening day video this week. Whether it's the weekend or whatever. That was awkward, but we made the play. Want to get opening day up really bad with this team. How far is Kalispell from Minnesota dominance? I think we're actually very far away from that. Minnesota's dominance in that dynasty had a lot to do with defense, and I am nowhere near the same caliber of defense I had with the Gophers.
And try to build that lead as much as they can moving into the later
Can't believe I
innings.
laid off that slider, but I'm trying to be very patient on the first pitch of the at-bat. Of course.
He's got to be more disciplined here. It's 0-2.
Welcome to my world.
Do you feel like you've built your team more through free agency, more than just organically developing guys? More like the Yankees than, say, the Cubs with Kuechel, Lynn, and Goldschmidt? Well, I mean, we had a very low payroll. It would have kind of been a waste to not make any kind of a move. There was not... If we didn't sign them, our highest contract was going to be Jason Castro making $8 million as a below average, in terms of overall in the game, below average catcher.
A lot of righty pitchers will throw that two-seamer to right-handed hitters to try to jam the guy or even make some fire.
I think it was a very unique situation for us to be able to make all those moves, and we couldn't have done it without being in such a good situation financially. But there's still a ton of developing we're doing to the roster.
The next twin up, Eddie Rosario.
And sometimes baseball just turns into an arms race, and you gotta find a way to stay competitive. Oh man,
Line to short.
I almost drilled Archer with that pitch, or with that swing.
Justin O'Connor.
In now, Justin O'Connor. First pitch.
Justin
on play.
O'Connor now, as we continue the
Right after him with a
exciting
fastball for
backup
strike.
catcher debate between him and Mitch Garver, and Garver's certainly winning. But either way, one of them is going to be a backup and the other is going to be a starter down at AAA. Contact swing now. Ooh,
Count
could have done
remains at
something there.
0-2.
How many of your young pitchers will be in the starting lineup? 3. It's just a matter of which 3.
Another 0-2 home.
Oh man, I got jammed twice on like that same location this
That
inning.
retires the side. Here's the catcher, Wilson Ramos. Set to lead off the home half of the second.
So let's try to get like 4 innings or so with Dallas Keuchel, and then we'll move on. And another base hit to start this inning.
And a base hit, so the leadoff
Super
man
chat here from Prospect. Kane, I've watched and loved your videos since your Madden 12 Vikings franchise. Thank you very much. Question, who do you think your Madden 19 franchise will be? I would suggest the Jets. Keep up the great videos, man. I have a couple ideas. I'm not really worried about which conference it's in this year because I think I've done more AFC stuff than NFC. I have to go all the way through it. In the NFC, as that is a fair ball, grazing the chalk down the first base line. So we've had Vikings, Rams, Panthers, Bears, all NFC. And for the AFC teams, we've had the Raiders, we've had the Jaguars, we've had the Chargers, so I could even things up this year. To me, the AFC is the weaker conference, the NFC is competitive and pretty fun, but I might go back to the AFC this year because there are some logical fits. I think you could consider the entire AFC East outside of the Patriots. All three of those teams, depending on what they do in the draft. So while I'm not set yet on what team it's going to be, AFC East right now would have to be the most likely location. I guess you could throw the Colts in there too. I love a good project. If I was to do a team in the NFC, it's hard for me to find a team other than the Cardinals that would be a fit. I guess Seattle would actually be in the conversation this year, but probably not. Why do you like the Twins? Because I'm from Minnesota. I grew up a Minnesota sports fan, and I really enjoyed watching the Twins when I was younger. As a matter of fact, I have a lot more good memories watching the Twins as a kid than the Vikings, because the Vikings have had so many bad seasons. I started watching them in the 2000 season when they went 11-5, and then immediately went 5-11, 6-10. They had some really bad years in the mid-2000s until they got to the playoffs in 08, and then obviously Brett Favre in 09. I'm a bigger Vikings fan than a Twins fan, but just the Twins were so much better, and I kind of remember them a little more than the Vikings for some of those older teams. I'm 25 now, so consider I've been watching these teams for close to 20 years, and definitely my first stage as a sports fan, it was a lot more pleasant as a Twin fan. They were very good in the Central, and nobody else really was. That's drilled, but it's caught. Whoever drafts Lamar Jackson should be the franchise team. It'll be like Madden 04 with Vic. That would be funny if I just announced that. Whoever drafts Lamar Jackson, that's the team.
Here's Charlie Blackmon now, as he will look at a first pitch fastball for ball one. He singled to open up the ball game.
Should I get MLB The Show if I haven't played a baseball game in years? How many years? I mean, whether or not you should buy a game, it's all very subjective because what's important to somebody might not be important to you. I'm a little bit more okay getting some minor upgrades year to year because obviously I make content on these games and I get a lot of hours out of them. I get a lot of entertainment. If you're the kind of person that only plays, a couple hours a week and you have every version of the show, then you'd have to really consider upgrading a lot more than somebody else. So if you haven't played in many years, the show, it's a known quantity. MLB The Show is a great game. It's been great since the beginning. I really enjoy the gameplay. I think that there are some things that could improve in the modes. That was an awesome play right there. But it's really up to everybody differently whether it's worth it or not. And that really goes for pretty much every game. I hit him in the wrist, right in the forearm. I like that attempted flip there. That was a cool play. And the Patriots draft Lamar Jackson. Actually, I don't think the Patriots would be a terrible franchise team. It's just they've had so much success, there's not a real point. It'd be all about what's after Tom Brady. The rest of that roster isn't like top tier.
What an absolute steal.
But quarterbacks are the largest piece of the pie, by far.
To be drafted as low as he was and turn
So yeah, if you wanted to do a Patriots rebuild, get Tom Brady retired, and then call it a rebuild afterwards, you could do that.
Here he comes on 2-0.
Would the AFC East ever get good enough to actually challenge you? That's a legitimate question. Would you consider playing as the Broncos? I think that would be a team I could consider, yes. Although I think that in Madden, they'd be a pretty good team to play with.
Here's the 3-0. Takes a high fastball for a strike.
Thank you for the super chat, Logan. Hey, Kane, love your channel. Been here since Vikings. Just wanted to say Kalispell is my favorite series that you have done. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Kalispell has been an awesome project. Goldschmidt, deep left field. See ya.
Have another one. He does.
He's so much fun. That wasn't even a power swing. I'm not even trying to put up video game numbers here in this video game, and yet we have 5 RBIs off of Chris Archer with that man's bat. But thank you for the kind words about the Kalispell series. I was really uncertain for a while about what I do next on NCAA 14, and then I talked a lot with Blackjack, and we came up with the Kalispell Dynasty really together, and yeah, I love that series. It's one of my favorites. The Dynasties have been so special, all 3 that I've done. And it's really because of the formula. The recruiting aspect of it. The games obviously are fun, albeit flawed in some regards. Like, I like the gameplay more in Madden, but there's something about NCAA and the recruiting and just everything that goes into it. I love the formula. Do you use directional or zone with no PCI? I use directional with no PCI, and it's because I'm just a very bad hitter. I've tried in the past using pure analog and aiming my swing, and I'm just not good at timing it, reading the pitch, reading the location. It'd be really ugly if I tried to hit like that. So, to me, this is how I grew up hitting. I used to play a lot of all-star baseball, MVP baseball. I was used to hitting with X and trying to influence where the ball goes with the left stick. So, obviously, it's not how the game really wants you to play, but it's how I really need to play. And I think you end up getting pretty realistic results with it because the ratings play a larger part. You have no PCI, therefore plate vision from the player is a bigger piece of the equation. I don't know how all the inner workings work, but from my experiences, I find this to actually be, if you're looking for a sim style, this is it.
And action now in the Tampa Bay pen as it looks like a right-hander's begun to get loose.
Josh Harrison. In front of it. Thank you for the super chat, Joshua. Rebuild Seattle. Their defense is basically gone. One thing to keep in mind is that I'll probably be doing a series on my main channel, my traditional franchise, and then a rebuild of some sort on my second channel where I might do an entirely different type of project. So if I do a full-on rebuild for my main channel and then I do kind of a different project on my second channel and want to use different caliber teams, I'd say Seattle is a possibility, even if it's just a mini-series over there to rebuild their defense and to compete with the upcoming Rams and 49ers. I think the Seattle Seahawks would be a perfect team for a series like that. Yes, I wish Madden had custom draft classes, or at least allowed you to create a handful of prospects, like you could on NCAA. I'm going to have to create 15 prospects. And that's fine. Like for Madden, it'd be fun just to create 32. Or like, just create a handful of players. You want to fit certain archetypes. Say you want to make sure your draft has, say, a Ja'Cory Day type of player, or, you know, Tavon Austin, Tyreek Hill, that kind of player. You could ensure that player's in there. Or say you just want to make yourself or a player in the mold of anybody. Like, it doesn't need to be creating 256 prospects or 300 prospects. You should give us that capability, I think, but just even be able to create 10. I think that'd be a big deal to some people. Imagine being able to create like you and like 7 of your buddies into the game. And then do an online franchise and draft yourselves. Like, wouldn't that be something you'd all have interest in? Eddie Rosario's going out to right now. You see, sometimes my swings look stupid, but other times, I know what I'm doing. Thank you, JD. I'm glad you enjoy watching my videos in all caps. I can tell you're excited about the stream. Would you consider doing the Bengals? That's another team. Almost the entire AFC is an option. Salvador Perez out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL tear. That's terrible. I like Salvador Perez. I also end up using him a lot in fantasy, so now I have to find someone else. I play a lot of MLB Daily Fantasy. I really enjoy that. Tomorrow's opening day. Cannot wait. Especially with opening day having, I think, every team. My luck, though, the Orioles, there'll be a lot of rain out there in Baltimore tomorrow, and I won't be able to watch Twins anyway. What is your favorite baseball video game? I'd probably just say The Show. I mean, Super Mega Baseball is an incredible game, but it's just not as deep. If you gave Super Mega Baseball this kind of depth, I might prefer that game just because of how much fun it is. I love that game. Alright, a super chat here from Seth saying that Goldie is more of a home run signing than Amari Cooper would have been. Sorry, too soon, LOL. Also, how far do you think this Twins team will go? I think with our current roster and the success of last year, I'm targeting like 90 wins. But I'm a little worried that we have bullpen and starting rotation regression. I'm counting on them not being quite as good as they were. Just because they were so good, you almost have to count on them not being the same caliber. So, I think the target is 80 to 90 wins. But if it's 80, you don't make the playoffs usually, or you might not. And if it's 90, you might win your division. So I'm hoping for 90 wins with this team. But I'm trying to also stay grounded in my expectations. Then a super chat here from Blue Blood, New York Giants. Surprisingly not asking me about the Odell Beckham situation and maybe getting traded. I'm sure I'll talk about that a little bit. But he says that I should do a Giants rebuild for Madden 19. And P.S. Amari Cooper and Aaron Higdon belong in the Kane Hall of Rejects. Drew Wolotarski and Justin McClellan in the Hall of Underrated. Throw Eric Carter in that hall as well. Imagine if I had made him a centerpiece of that offense. He hardly got any throws his way and still made amazing grabs. And the thing is, in NCAA, like the catch animations and everything are very unpredictable. There are not the same mechanics that are in Madden. Yet that dude found a way to make all kinds of acrobatic catches and contested grabs. It was one of the most unique things I've seen in NCAA.
From the stretch.
I am just destroying the ball today.
And that's in there, base hit.
Alright. The Giants rebuild though in Madden 19. I hope that I can get around to more rebuilds in the new Madden. Because I love my Browns rebuild. And I know that rebuilds are going to be a big thing on my second channel moving forward. Shouldn't swing at that one. Super chat from Ace of Games. Thank you. Hey Kane, as a man who has created some amazing sports stories on your channel, what do you think of the Vegas Golden Knights going to the playoffs in their inaugural season? That's incredible. That's a video game storyline right there. I'm really surprised that they've been so good. I can't say I've watched, a lot of hockey this year, but I have, at least kept up enough to know that they've been dominating. I know for a while they were even the #1 seed. Where are they currently in the standings? That's an amazing story, and if the Wild were to play them, I wouldn't feel bad if the Wild lost. Obviously, I'll always cheer for the Minnesota team to win in that situation, but I kind of want to see Vegas go on a big run now.
To keep the runners at bay as the count moves to 2-2. He's set. Here's the 2-2.
Ooh. What's the plate vision here on Nick Gordon? Because he just saved me. Can't tell from this menu. I'm just curious. Plate vision's a 47, but it worked out a lot better there. I don't believe the Odell Beckham stuff, to be honest. It's a lot of misdirection in my opinion.
The 2-2 one more time.
I just think it would be a terrible idea to even consider trading him. How do you sell that to the fan base? Even if you get 2 first-round picks, you might not get a player at that caliber. We all know that Odell Beckham is... He's having a historic start to his career. Like, let's not call him a Hall of Fame player already, but he has a Hall of Fame start to his career. Undoubtedly. Like, trading him, like, that's just career suicide.
And the 0-1. And a fastball way off target here, and it's even at 1. 7 runs, 10 hits.
I agree that there's probably not... I don't think he gets traded, essentially. Goldschmidt to center. The ballpark should contain this one. I'm not really tagging up or really taking any risks here on the base paths because it's not really important here in the spring. What do you think about the Rams adding Sue? I am terrified. Man, Sue and Donald together? That is a filthy interior, and no one's ready for that.
Change up in for a strike.
I will say that Dave Gettleman has done some really surprising things in the past, like how the situation with Steve Smith and the Panthers ended. That was messier than it needed to be. He took away the franchise tag from Josh Norman, and then he went to Washington. So he'll make the decision you won't think he'll make when it comes to the star player. He's shown that. But Odell Beckham is a different caliber player than even those two. I think it'd be shocking for Beckham to get traded.
Hit hard on the ground towards second, and that's through into center field.
Oh man, everything's over the middle, and I'm not missing. Also, Talib and Peters in the secondary, absolutely.
You know what I like right there, Dan, is the batter's approach. Not trying to do too much, just taking it right back up the chute again, staying within himself.
Imagine saying a year ago that the Rams would be maybe one of the best Super Bowl favorites for the 2018 season. What a massive turnaround with Sean McVay. And you know the NFL, there's been all this conversation for many years about them drawing fans in Los Angeles and having a successful franchise. I honestly didn't think it was going to work because I didn't think they'd get a team this good. And look what happened. As Nelson Cruz yanks one to deep left, it's caught. But Los Angeles now, they have a team that might be able to get that city really excited. I'm not familiar with Los Angeles enough to really speak for them, but I'd still have to think of them as a Raiders city, just because of all the history there with the Raiders and how good they were. But the Rams, like, if you're going to succeed in Los Angeles, you can't suck. There's too much stuff to do. So the Rams are doing it right.
He'll try to follow up the double in his last at-bat with another big hit right here.
And the Chargers are a good team too, but they don't exactly have a home field advantage in Southern California. They had trouble selling out Qualcomm in San Diego.
Swing and a miss on the changeup, and there are 2 gone.
Thank you for the super chat, the G19. I'm a huge Red Sox fan, but I want to pick one player and completely build the team around him. I'm thinking Benny, but what do you think? You want to pick one player and completely build the team around him.
Stepping in now, Daniel Robertson, as he'll try to hold back on the swing, but he went around.
By the way, I'm drawing a blank. Who's Benny?
He hit a sac fly earlier. Kuechel's ready. 0-1 pitch on its way. And that one just missed outside.
One player and completely build the team around him. Like a baseball player to build a team around?
1-1
Try to build a franchise around one singular guy?
For strike 2. 1 run, 4 hits. And no
Why do you
errors
like
for
baseball
Tampa Bay
video
so
games?
far.
Because I like baseball. Some people find it boring, which I think, you know, it's a reasonable way to look at it. Maybe it's not for you.
But he's called out and the side is retired.
Maybe you don't like football because of the 30 seconds of nothing between plays. That's also fine.
Twins lead it. Jose De Leon gets the call.
I think he means Andrew Benintendi.
This mess out.
I would rather build around Mookie Betts.
Couple of innings for his guy.
Why not take Mookie Betts?
Digging in once again, Josh Harrison. He'll start things out as we begin the 5th.
Josh Harrison.
Heading out towards shallow right. Right fielder has a beat on it. 1 away.
Now batting.
So digging in now, Eddie Rosario.
Benintendi wouldn't be a bad option, but I think Mookie Betts would be the more fun player to try building around.
Infield
I'm
in the
destroying the
over.
Rays right now.
They haven't played perfectly as it's hit on the ground.
I've hit the ball sharply twice with Rosario, and I just keep hitting into the shift, whether it was the infielder behind second base or right there.
O'Connor.
Digging in and looking for more, Justin O'Connor. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game.
Justin O'Connor, here we go.
And that's
You know what? Let me
outside
get
for a
that
ball. 1-0.
bullpen warming up so I can get Jake Reed into the game.
Bases are empty here with 2 men out. Fouled off.
Rounded up the middle, and that is another out.
Throw in time, and
A lot of my outs have been hit pretty well, though.
so no runs, no hits, no
Will you do a
errors,
rebuild
no
like the
left.
Browns or MLB The Show? I think I've got to at least try it, right?
Out in front.
I've thought about doing a fantasy draft series, but I think that a full-on rebuild might be fun. I'm just trying to think of how I'd convert my formula into baseball, is all.
So far,
Like, what would I change? What would I do differently? Would I want to actually play games as opposed to watch them?
Appearances here in the spring.
Jake
Who will lead the MLB in home runs, Judge or Stanton? If you made me guess between the two, I'd say Judge, only because he'll have more familiarity with the American League pitching. I'm not sure if that's really going to matter, but I have to break a tie some way between two guys who are probably going to hit 50 this year or in the 40s. So Reed had a tremendous rookie season for us in this series, and I'm sure he'll have a very prominent role in the bullpen again. I'm not sure if he was our most used reliever last year, but he had a lot of appearances. Thank you for the super chat again, Blue Blood New York Giants. Just get to his question quick. I bought a PS3 for NCAA 14 just because of your Gophers and Kalispell. Waiting for it to come in the mail, having trouble deciding on a team. I like to rebuild like you, so what college do you think? Okay, I got one for you.
First offering on its way.
Before I thought of the team builder idea,
Misses inside.
I was going to think about rebuilding a small school again.
The 1-0.
And the team that I was looking at was Georgia State.
Espinosa
So you'd be in,
keep an eye
you know,
on his batter's
SEC
box.
country down there. You'd be
Drop down a
recruiting against the best of the best in your own backyard, especially with the Bulldogs there, and you got Georgia Tech. That is the school I'd suggest, the Georgia State Panthers. Strike 3. I forget where they play. I want to say the Georgia Dome, but I could be completely off. I might be way off on that.
standing in. Kevin
I'm not sure where they play in the
Cameron
game.
in 2 at-bats
But
for
Georgia
him.
State's what I'd say.
Right over the middle, knee high.
Or if you'd prefer, maybe a larger school that's not as big of a project, maybe Vanderbilt or Kentucky, one of the schools in the SEC that doesn't usually
Set
rank
to
very
deliver
highly.
on 0-2. Here it comes.
Look at that change up from Jake Reed.
Well, so make it back-to-back
I'm ready
strikeouts
for
here
opening
the
day,
first 2 men
JDL,
faces
for
out of
sure.
the bullpen.
now batting. Number
Up next
6.
for the Rays, number 6.
Really excited for
First
tomorrow.
2 men in the inning have both gone down via the punch-out, so we'll see if he can fare any better. Ball 1 to start the at-bat.
Who are you going for in the NCAA tournament? Hey, if I have no one to root for, like no favorite team, I'm always going to go underdog. I want to see Loyola pull it off.
And here's a slider
I love
for a ball
chaos, and
We're seeing
a
quite a few
small
pitches
or
come from him right now, and that can
unheralded
obviously be
college
dangerous.
that doesn't normally make the tournament or was a low seed.
And the inning will
That's the kind of
continue.
chaos that I
That's good for a
enjoy.
two-out hit. So now
Maybe
with
the
two away, the
TV
middle of the order
companies
gets to bat with
want to have the biggest
opportunities
names
on
and the
base.
biggest superstars out there, but not me. I want the biggest underdogs.
Little
That's what
tardy
makes
on that
sports
swing
fun.
as it's well wide of first.
I did want Georgia State, and in year 1 I got a 5-star quarterback because he wanted to stay near home. Yeah, that's possible. The proximity to home is it's an important part for a lot of the prospects. And consider me having a team in Kalispell, Montana, as we get another strikeout. How many prospects come from Montana? It's very tough for us to have players that are happy with the proximity to home. But on the flip side, down there, you're going to have to compete against the best of the best.
And he'll try to sort this mess out. He's going to try to at least eat a couple of innings for his
So I
team.
hope that suggestion was helpful for you, New York Giants.
First pitch on its way. Line drive.
Now I got a deep fly ball, or not that deep. I have hit a couple good line drives in the outfield with Buxton, but he just doesn't have that same power.
Charlie.
Kane, the Vegas Golden Knights are leading the Pacific Division and are 5th overall currently. Do you think they can make a deep run in the playoffs? Hey, if they've gotten this far, why not? I'll actually watch some of the playoffs. I want to see Vegas.
High in the air out
That's
to
an
center
amazing
field.
story for a
Kiermaier's
league
got
that
read on it,
obviously wants to generate more
and
interest.
he brings it in for the second out of the inning.
I think it's great for the sport.
Now batting.
What do you think about the Twins' 4-man rotation? I'm not sure how long it's going to
Ready
stay
another
for,
chance, Nick Gordon
but
came through with an RBI single in his last at-bat.
I guess I'm not really sure what to
Ready
think of
with
it at
the
this
first
point.
pitch. Here it comes.
I like the improvements they made to the rotation overall, as Gordon's going to give this one a chance. Not quite gone, and I made a mistake in not getting him to second base quickly, so he's going to be safe anyway. Good job.
Some guys just lay back and watch that first pitch go by, no matter what. Work the count,
Goldie.
make the pitcher waste a few pitches, but when he serves up a fastball like this on the first pitch, it's hard not to go after it, and that's just what he does. He jumped all over it.
Lays off 1-0.
Boy, that's a tough pitch.
Are they
to
still
take
updating
right
their
there. I'm
rosters for
not sure if
NCAA
you're
14?
guessing or you're seeing
I'm
the pitch,
sure of it.
but boy,
On
that was
Operation
awfully
Sports,
close
they
to being called a
have,
strike.
I think, a set every year. So if you wanted to have a class that had, or a roster that gave you, like,
The ground is short. Duffy
this year's this year's draft class, I'm sure that's available. I haven't had to import a set in over a year, but if you go to the Operation Sports forums, NCAA roster section, I think you'll get what you're looking for. All right, end of game.
Side.
That was fun. I scorched the baseball in this game. Twins win.
This game had its
Do you like
moments, but it got
basketball? I
handled
like
quick.
basketball.
Always nice
I
when you
do
can
like
close
the
to a
sport.
6-run win. Save your closer for another day and let everyone in on the action.
And getting into 2K a little bit has definitely helped with that.
The Twins.
Like I've mentioned from the very beginning, Madden was my gateway to football, and video games overall have gotten me into sports, not the other way around.
Taking the loss. So that just about does it. For Mark DeRosa, Dan Plesac, and our entire crew, I'm Matt Vasgersian.
So,
You've been watching
Goldschmidt, 2 home runs, Nick Gordon, 3 for 4, Dallas Keuchel, 4 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts.
Rays, 2 runs on 8
It's
hits.
good.
No errors.
I did not see what Wade did to LeBron. I didn't really see what happened last night, besides the Cavs only scored like 78 points. I don't think the OSFM rosters are out yet, but I'm not sure if it'll be a long wait because of the early release this year. But you'll have to see from those who are working on it. We win another game here against the Yankees. Oh, Alex Kirilloff is getting some at-bats now. That's cool. Lance Lynn, 4 good innings. His ERA stays excellent. And Barrios does well. I kind of want to play with Barrios again. Gary Tadano's doing really well. Jake Reed. That is good to see. Yadier Alvarez. Yeah, I want to see him play. Feel like I've already done a spring training game against Kevin Gausman, but oh well. Actually, that was out of the park baseball, I think. Maybe it was both. Beats me. I want to play now with Mitch Garver. Again, Nick Gordon. Really enjoyed playing with him that last game. I want to throw Daniel Palka into the outfield. Which spot? Left field. Willie Ordonez again at third base. Let's take Blackmon out. Put in Kirilloff. Sure. How about Jorge Polanco for Josh Harrison? I know I'm taking out some of our new players we're excited about, but I'm just trying to get a feel for everybody. Oh. Buxton's not doing well. He has low energy, too. I think it is time for a day off. Zach Granite. Yep, I got Goldie in this series. I made the Paul Goldschmidt signing. Nelson Cruz will have 34 home runs this series. I'd be very happy with 30 or anything more. I have a dynasty with Florida Atlantic, and Kiffin has some great perks. I go after a lot of JUCO players. Is that smart? I think it is. I like going for JUCO players, but realize they are short-term solutions. Usually only 2 years. Occasionally you'll find the sophomore JUCO transfer, and that gives you 3 years of eligibility. JUCO players tend to not have as much interest. They're easier to recruit, and I don't think that they're any worse than any other prospect. In some cases, I think they're more exciting.
And we are ready for some daytime baseball.
I feel like the JUCO players can sometimes be some of your best. Consider Rashad Williams in the Kalispell dynasty, the tight end. James Hampton was a JUCO transfer. That new 78 overall guard I got as a JUCO transfer. Yep, this is continuing off of MLB 17. Same team. Just, I went through an off season already to change some things. Nice start. How do you know, or do you know how to fix your lineups being auto-selected even when it's on manual? I guess I'm not sure, because the game will do some things, moving players around and giving players off days. I'm not sure all what goes into it.
Line to the right side, and that's into the outfield for a one-out base hit.
JUCO is good, but stick to your pipelines. Yeah, for me, JUCO is really good for filling in the gaps on your roster. Like, you might not get a tight end who's a freshman that's ready to start playing for you immediately. You could, but I wouldn't say it's likely. But you can find a JUCO who can step in and be your starter. No problem. I like to get a mix of both.
And the Orioles looking for more here in this game's opening frame.
Maxwell Fowler will get those Ks. I'm predicting he'll take a big step forward. I hope he can get some strikeouts, but as long as he's a good pitch-to-contact pitcher and he doesn't allow a lot of home runs or anything major, I'm happy with that. I don't think he's going to be the flashiest player, but that doesn't mean he can't be one of our top starters.
Hey, I love the location right there. Maybe that extra base hit was a big wake-up call to get it going.
Oh, man. That would make me angry if I did that. With our JUCOs, junior college transfers. So in sports, they're a player. Adam Jones, home run. Oh. We continue to have our struggles here with Yadier Alvarez. But essentially a junior college player is someone who's playing at a junior college. It's a lower level. And they can transfer to larger schools and still have some eligibility. There are a lot of very prominent examples of players going the junior college route and then getting recruited by a big school. You have Cam Newton, who ended up going to Auburn. You have Aaron Rodgers, who went to Cal.
Number 66.
And in NCAA, they're players who are usually a little bit more developed than regular freshmen, or yeah, freshmen coming out of high school, but they'll have less eligibility for you.
Striding in, number 32.
Who will win on opening day, Twins or Orioles? The Twins will, of course.
Number 32.
Now here's
They're going to get tomorrow started the right way.
And a good spot for that pitch is it's chopped foul.
All right, so 3-0 Orioles. What position is Ohtani? I'm not sure because I know his spring numbers haven't been very good for his pitching or his hitting. And if I was kind of concerned that coming into this year that maybe, obviously it's a jump in competition when you come play in the major leagues. I wasn't sure if it'd be a clean transition at both pitching and hitting. I thought maybe he'd rely more on one early in his career, but neither really stood out in the spring, so I don't know. I feel like that's a really delicate situation to figure out how you get his career started the right way and you get the most out of him here in his first season. Oh, man. But if I had to guess, I think that he could spend some time with the minors to figure it out.
Up next for Minnesota, Nick Gordon, as he'll get his first opportunity in this one.
I really hope that he can play at a high level at both spots because that would be incredible to have a guy you could throw out, pitch 6 innings, give him a couple days rest, and then he's your DH for 2 days, and then he pitches again. Imagine if he was just above average at both. Like, he's a pitcher who's going to have like an ERA around 4, and then he's a hitter that's going to give you like 250, 275. What would that be in terms of value? That'd still have to be like elite money, right? Because he's doing 2 jobs. He'd probably play in less games than a normal hitter because of the rest from pitching. But if he was above average at both, I think he could really get a big contract at some point, and that'd be really exciting. So I hope it works out.
Texan. He was a 5th-round pick during the first-year player draft of 2006.
Favorite MLB commentator? I think Matt Vasgersian is really good in his baseball commentary. I think they definitely have him not be as intense for the show because it's night and day, his commentary in the show versus real life.
Frozen with a high fastball there. We'll see if they try to climb the ladder even more on the next pitch.
And this catches the zone as well.
So for Alvarez, he has a very boom or bust style. When he's on, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts. But you're also going to get a lot of home runs allowed and some ugly outings. Trying to get more of that first one.
He'll try again, 1-2.
Up the middle now. Got it. Good play. Oh, Gordon. That's going to be an error, I think, on Nick Gordon.
Man, there's just no excuse for a middle infielder to make a play like
Matt Vasgersian is now doing the Sunday night baseball games. I'll definitely want to check those out.
For some reason, he just pulled the first baseman off the bag. It happens, but you never want to give a team extra outs.
Sean Coyle is in with 1 away now as he swings and misses here at strike 1. Good changeup there as he takes command. 0-2.
0-2 now. Let's go to that slider away. This is his pitch here. The control for Alvarez has always been tough. It's a lot more difficult to handle than any other pitcher I think we have. Like, I'm not going to get perfect timing on all these pitches or even most of them, but the slight misses with Alvarez get me into a lot more trouble than others.
Rodriguez in with 2 away now as he looks at
I have a
ball,
question.
strike
Where
one.
is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at in the Blue Jays organization? I got to see that home run yesterday. That was a really cool moment. I saw the... Did you see the gif of him and his dad swing side by side? It has a lot of similarities. Where is he, though, in terms of his standing in the organization? Is he with the big league team now?
Popped him up,
That's a blooper going foul. I'm not going to catch it.
but this will land untouched.
Where's Daniel Palka? He's starting in the outfield in this game, so you'll see him hit at some point, maybe next inning.
Grounder down the line to
Are you
third.
going to get Far Cry 5? I have Far Cry 5.
Coming up. And a net
I got like an
fly
hour or
fastball
so
that
into the
time.
game yesterday.
Full count with 2 outs
I love the
now,
Far
so
Cry
if he put the
formula.
ball in the gap somewhere, he could have a good shot of driving in a run because the
Much
runner
better
first
inning this
will be
time
in
around
motion.
for Alvarez.
On to first,
He's
and
in
that
high
number
A,
will come
going to be
back
double A.
to
Yeah, I
ball
didn't
as
think
the
he'd be
inning is over.
so far along that he'd be in the majors already. I thought I would have heard something about that earlier.
Leading off for the
But I mean, he hit a big spring training home run at the end, so I wasn't sure if he'd be AAA at this point.
Key for this leadoff guy to try to get on and get a big inning started.
Especially because if he's still with the spring team at this point of the year, like he wasn't like an early cut.
Now the 1-0
So I thought maybe he'd be close to making the roster.
is looked at off the plate for a ball.
Wow, that's what a veteran hitter will do, right? Takes 2 really good pitches, both just missing the strike zone, and puts himself into a good
Like that was
hitter.
obviously like what you would call a cool moment. And there are a lot of cool moments in sports. I feel like baseball has more cool moments than anything. Maybe it's because they play so many games. There's more room for cool things like that. Although that had nothing to do with the amount of games. It was just, you know, he is the son of a very famous player who was very good. I really liked watching him growing up. But I feel like baseball just has more cool moments than any sport. Oh, man. I'm sure there'll be a lot of that this year with Cruz.
There,
We're going to get some home runs. We're going to get some
1
pop-ups.
out.
No, I haven't hit a home run with Sano yet because I haven't been using him. I'm trying other players I'm not as familiar with. So I'm trying to get more players involved, essentially. I haven't even had an at-bat with Sano today.
And that misses low and away, ball 1. Bases are empty, 1 down.
Ah.
A ball and a strike. The 1-1. Takes a pitch for
Oh,
strike
they
number
called
2.
that a strike. What am I being patient for?
And a swing and a
Ah,
misses. They
bad
got him with the
strikeout there.
slider
Bad
two away.
strikeout. Looks like we dropped a few frames, but nothing too terrible. It's been good to this point for almost an hour, so I'm happy with that.
He's one of my favorites, mostly because
Who's your favorite player?
you know, he can absolutely
Byron
dominate
Buxton
on
is my
any
favorite
given day
baseball
because of
player.
what he offers up
Favorite
there.
twin.
It's just nasty. There aren't many hitters that like to see this guy on
The
the
speedy
mound.
outfielder is always going to be like what I'm biased towards. Not always, but
Now the
in my time as a Twins fan, I've always gravitated towards the outfielders. Torrey Hunter is my favorite baseball player of all time because he was such a fun player to watch on defense. And then there was Carlos Gomez, and I loved watching him because he was so fast. And then Byron Buxton, we all know the potential he has,
into the windup.
and he's obviously like the fastest player in the game. He has 99 speed here in the show.
You know, when you haven't gotten a guy on base yet in the entire game, a 3-ball count kind of feels
All
like
right,
a little
3-1
mini rally.
Polanco.
Let's see if he can get on.
And
It's
this one
high.
misses high for ball 4, and they have themselves a
No
2-run
video
base
after
runner.
this stream. On the second channel there will be. It's Out of the Park Baseball, episode 2, with my 2018 Twins. Once I get a feel for the game, I might try something else if there's still interest for that on that channel. I'd like to do something with maybe the Braves or whatever.
Great job of getting back in the zone with a hard fastball.
But I'm also thinking about doing a rebuild on the show for my second channel.
Ready
Here's
with
Palka.
nothing in one pitch.
Oh, come on.
Just pulled it a little foul. Polanco leads off first with a
I was
pair
in front of
outs
it.
in the inning.
Can I have a birthday shout-out? Happy birthday, Joel Delgado. Hope it's a good one.
And That's a setup pitch right there. 1-2.
No, Torrey Hunter Jr. is on a minor league team. He did play receiver at Notre Dame. I think he's in the Angels organization, if I'm not mistaken. I traded for him in this series
Pitch on its way.
because I can't help myself mostly. When can we start Super Mega Baseball 2? When it's out. I'm not sure when it's being released yet. I'm thinking we'll get an announcement shortly. I know they're doing a private beta on Xbox. I think very soon. But I'm assuming after the beta, they'll have an idea ready for the release schedule.
Now the 3-2 pitch is a wave and a miss. He struck
I think I was
out.
late. Couldn't have been that
One-one for
late.
Minnesota.
Surprised I
They
missed
trail
entirely.
here, 3-0. Tomlinson. He singled and scored in his first appearance in this one.
Shortstop, Shelby Tomlinson.
First pitch on its way. Right side, but it's going to be a foul ball. The windup and the 0-1.
I want to get through 4 innings if I can with Alvarez
Swung
here.
on, but it's pulled foul wide of third. 2 quick strikes, and now the 0-2. And this is yanked hard down the left.
He allows a
field
lot
line.
of extra
And
base
that's
hits.
in for a base hit, his second in his many trips to the plate. And he'll pull into second here with nobody out.
He went with the slider, but the hitter wasn't full.
Happy birthday, Jake Braden. Now, don't you all say it's all your birthday. Maybe there are a couple birthdays in the chat, but I know there aren't 25.
And there's a pitch that just
You'll
misses
get your
the
turn.
inside corner. Machado is
Maybe.
undoubtedly one of the best hitters in baseball, especially against right-handed pitching. Tends to hit for both power and average.
There you
so
go.
Certainly a big threat in matchups like
There you
these.
go. Good
Yeah,
swing
you
and
can
miss
tell
there.
He is just super confident against right-handed guys. You know, sometimes it's coincidence.
Thoughts on
Sometimes
Corey
it's you
Clement?
don't
I
see
like
him
Corey
when he's
Clement a
batting.
lot. He's a
But
talented
bottom line
back.
is, 75% of the time there's a right-hander on the mound, and this guy
Definitely an
is
undrafted
narrow.
steal for Philly. If you have good vision and lateral agility, like you're gonna be just fine.
For the first out.
Hey, I'm not sure what he was sitting on right there. Might have been sitting on an off-speed pitch, but instead he gets the fastball way late. Had no chance to put that ball in play.
Strike one to start the at-bat.
It's 8.2 quarterback's birthday.
On its way,
I hope
the
one day
0-1
we
pitch.
do see an 8.2 quarterback,
Tough
so I
slider over the
cannot
inside
scout him.
corner for a strike.
I'll just ignore him
Hey,
entirely.
2 tough pitches right there, and expect more of the same. With that guy standing out on second base.
Drill. Oh, come on. You got to charge that, man.
With that base hit
Going
first,
home.
He's gonna grind out and try.
Bad throw.
And not in
Bad
time
throw.
as
Who's
the
out there
run
in right?
scores.
Is that
Boy,
Granite?
that's a pretty good pitch. You see this changeup down in the zone, almost ankle high. with
So I've
2
allowed
strikes.
4
A pretty
runs
good
now with
pitch.
Alvarez.
Result isn't very good.
And we still have Adam Jones to get
Ground
past
ball
here.
with eyes through the middle of the field, and you know what it looks like in tomorrow's box score? A bullet line drive.
There's that
And
control
changeup
getting a little
here, but that's
wild.
taken low in the dirt for a ball. Runner at first here, 1 man out. And a swing and a
There you
miss,
go.
and another
96.
punch out here, 6 already, and that's out number 2. Digging in to try it again, Hiroyuki Kanale. 0 for 1 for him here in this one. Starts him out with a changeup for a strike.
Either way, 4 runs allowed so far is not good, and the pitch count has also been
Now a swing, and
troublesome.
he gets him to pop it up, and
I have
this'll
troubles
be
with
foul.
Alvarez. I don't have with
Here
other
it
pitchers.
comes on 0-2.
Pitch count, extra base
And that one
hits,
stayed up a
control.
little high.
Boy, it's hard to sit on an 0-2 fastball.
Might need some
I
more
think that
time in the
pitch just
minors,
locked him
sadly.
up a bit.
Well, the play's been made, and that retires the side.
How you losing to the Orioles? Adam Jones, that's why.
Number 43, and they've got some work to do early on. Down 4.
After this game, can we check out Torrey Hunter Jr.? He's not at spring training,
But you don't want to fall too
so I'd have to
far
add him
behind
to the 40-man roster to do that, and then use up an option. He's not ready. He's like the lowest overall player on the team.
Big boys to start driving in some runs.
During the season, I'm sure we'll see him.
First pitch coming. Here it is.
Ah,
No balls and 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Pulled high in the air out to right field. Trumbo has a read on it. 2 down.
we have no hits.
Now batting.
Alex Kirilloff
Stepping
now.
in and ready for another shot. Number 32. 0 for 1 here in the early going. First delivery to him on the way. Hold hard, but it's foul down the first.
With his
base side.
control problems, would you look at a trade for Alvarez? I find I have that problem sometimes with my Sims and hold on to guys I should move on from. I think at some point I have to find which prospect I'd be most willing to move on from, because I can't have them all be, like, they're not all going to be long-term starters for us.
The 1-1.
Obviously we have Dallas Keuchel now, so we have one player who's going to be a long-term solution, but we have, like, more prospects with B or A potential than there are openings in the rotation.
And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
So I'll have to find out who those 1 or 2 players are. I'm just trying to play the patience game with all of this because they have very good development.
Half here, but that one's wide for ball 3.
And you know what? Give this guy some credit up there because this had to look
World
like being a
Series
very
pick?
quick inning. He's been able to stretch
If you
this
made me
at-bat
pick
out a
the
little
World
bit,
Series
that's something
team,
that shouldn't go unnoticed.
And he'll make that play look easy as the throw.
how about the Dodgers? They get it done this year. The LA Dodgers.
Striding in once again,
Leading off
Chris
for Baltimore,
Davis comes into this at-bat 0 for 1 in the ball game.
Davis.
Even though they're up by a boatload early on in this one,
I'm probably going to sim a lot of this game. I might do one more inning of hitting.
Finds the zone, strike 1.
Got him jammed there.
Popped up. Ordonez.
That's better.
Trying to get there. Throw to first in time. 1 gone.
I'm not looking to trade for any major players right now. I like the roster I have, and we just increased our payroll tremendously, so I'm not trying to make any other aggressive move.
And here's a fastball called for strike 1.
I guess the game plan from the offensive standpoint today coming into this one was they were going to work the counts. They've been super patient at the plate in the early goings of this game, and they've got the lead looking for more.
A ball and 2 strikes to the Baltimore backstop now.
Hey, back when I first broke into the big leagues, a lot of the pitchers wanted to work east to west.
There we go.
Now with such an uptick
Chopper
in
back to the
velocity,
pitcher.
these guys are working north
I
south.
want to see some more
That's just a
weekly
great
hit outs
elevated
for
fastball
Alvarez.
with serious velocity on it.
Second baseman. Sean
Standing in, Sean Coyle. He'll look to bounce back after striking out his last time up. First pitch fastball off the plate there, and it's ball 1. Now a fastball for a called strike. It's 1-1.
There we go. 2 strikes again for Alvarez. I want to get that slider low and away. There we go. A little bit higher than I wanted it, but it's perfect. Who has been your best player so far in spring training, and what is your projected starting rotation? I'd say our best player has been Paul Goldschmidt. Hard to argue against that. And then for a projected starting rotation, you can lock in Kuechel, you can lock in Lance Lynn. I think Maxwell Fowler will be the third. Beyond those 3, if I had to guess right now, it would be Steven Gonzalez and Fernando Romero. I'm just not sure Alvarez should be up at the majors right now. I think a lot of things still need work.
Now the 1-1 pitch. Takes
I
a
guess
pass and misses. That's strike 2.
you could consider Gary Tadano. He has had a good spring. I might have to consider him.
Very weakly on the
That
ground.
would mean that we'd have 2 pitchers in our starting rotation that only played 1 year in the minors.
The 1-2. Swung on but fouled off to the left.
Is David Guerra in this? I haven't seen David Guerra in the chat tonight.
Now another 1-2.
There we go. Nice swing from Gordon.
But this'll be
It's an
pulled
out,
in
though.
there in left center. Well hit,
Where do you
but a
say
runner
Ertz is
number 1.
around the other tight ends in the league? I'd say like top 3, top 5 territory. To me, up there, you have like Gronk, Kelsey, Ertz.
Concentrate, and he did there to haul it down.
In tight here with the first pitch fastball that's 1-0. No runs, no hits, and one error make up the totals for the Twins.
All right, Goldschmidt.
It's a high fly ball headed for the left
It's
field
fouled.
corner. If it stays fair, it's gone. And
Oh,
that
man, I
really
love
would've got
hitting
him
with
on board.
Goldschmidt.
Instead, it's a long
It's
foul
fun.
ball.
Ah,
Looked like he was on that one, but it's 1-2.
That swing looked kind of out of control to me. Looked like
so
he
you
was
forgot about
trying to
Jose
dive right,
Barrios.
but when you're
He'll
down
probably be
by
in the
4
minors
runs
too.
early in the game,
But I kind of did
doesn't
forget
make a
about him a
whole lot
little
of
bit.
sense.
I knew something was
Wow,
wrong.
contact there, but it's well foul. Here's another 1-2.
Ah,
And a splitter.
I didn't go
Swung on
power
and
swing
missed
that time
That'll
either.
be out
Wasn't
number
being too
2.
aggressive. All right, Cruz, 8 homers in the spring. That's pretty incredible.
Designated hitter, Nelson Cruz.
No runs though.
Field in the overshift here. Now the pitch.
Oh, way
Just a
late.
tick behind for a strike.
Last game I couldn't
If you're
miss.
going to catch up to a high fastball like that, it's all about getting that front foot down in enough time to allow your hands to start moving forward. He was way too late there.
Counts even at 1-1 to Nelson Cruz. Cruz, the former Seattle Mariner, he became a member of this team after signing as a free agent earlier this season.
That's so cool. They're talking right now in the commentary about how Cruz just came over as a free agent. It's minor, but I love those little things.
And trying to get to know your teammates.
1 and 2.
The best way to get to know them is to go out and
Ripped
produce.
it. He's hugging the line.
Third
That's
baseman, and
unlucky.
that'll end the inning. Down go the Twins in order. They
Okay, I'm going to sim the rest of this game now. I think I want to play with Gary Tadano. That's exactly who I want to use next.
Designated hitter, Jose Rodriguez.
We end up losing 4-1.
and the score 1 today. Baltimore.
I want to keep playing with Nick Gordon too because I have to decide where he's going to play this year, and I've really enjoyed hitting with him. How long are you going to stream? I'm not sure how much longer. We're just going to see how the games go. I'm streaming a little bit later than normal today, so we'll see when I want to wrap up. I want to know, I need to see the energy for our pitchers, because I want to go play a game where we're going to be able to use Tadano in some capacity. Let's start him. Once again, Nick Gordon. Top 50 prospect. Let's give Buxton a chance to lead off. Put Daniel Palka in the outfield. And get Joe Mauer in there. Now Buxton hurt himself in the batting cage. Okay, gotta take Buxton out then. Look at Gordon's average though. 409 here in the spring. 70 overall. Really excited about him. Oh, I missed the super chat here. Mike Will Gaming. I'm sorry about that. Happy Wednesday. Enjoy your videos. First time watching you live. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mike. Hope you're enjoying the stream. If you are still in here. Sorry I took so long to get to your super chat.
Afternoon baseball here on the show. Today it's Grapefruit League action between the Boston Red Sox and the
We're
Minnesota
11 and
Twins.
7 so far.
So striding forward now.
So here's Gary Tadano. Can I get his numbers? He's only pitched 6 innings, but he's only allowed, I think, 1 run in the process. So here are Tadano's ratings. He's currently a 76 overall, very young, and I think he has B potential. He has a sidearm delivery and was very good in the minors last year.
On its way. Crowd still filing in this afternoon as the game's first pitch is taken for ball 1. Into his windup, here comes the 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. From the windup, the 2-0 pitch. Clear skies this afternoon, 84 degrees is our first pitch temperature. Into the corner and slicing foul.
Let's try that slider now from Tadano. Nice location. Brock Holt strikes out. What are your hopes going into the season? Playoffs. Competing for a division title.
That's a pretty bad place to be, but then he kind of refocused himself and came right back with
And hopefully getting more having more answers than questions for our starting rotation.
Getting ahead on the next guy.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. 1-1. Swinging a ball hit on the ground, but a foul ball. 1-2 now.
Dustin Pedroia.
No offer at the curve that time, and it's knotted up at 2-2. Now time to list the umpires in this one. Behind the
Here's a
plate,
cutter on the outside.
You know,
Fouled
I think
off.
Jerry Hillsdale is a very good hitter's umpire. Doesn't give much on the edges. He's going to make you put
Here's
the
how we
ball
got the
in play.
first strikeout.
Some Jerry
No.
Hillsdale. You have to come over those 17 inches. He ain't giving you anything on the outside corner, and that's the way it should be.
Now a ball
He
crushed
drilled
in the
that
air,
cutter
deep
way over the left
way
field
back
fence.
there, and that one is long gone.
What about the Brewers? I like the Brewers roster a lot.
Hit that ball well. Put a great swing on it with great
I think they
extension,
could be pretty
and
good.
it sailed right out of here.
Right fielder.
This one's down to third. Sano has it. Throw gets him. 2 down.
Batting fourth.
Here's Xander Bogaerts now. He was the winner of the AL Silver Slugger Award at shortstop a season ago. No balls and a strike to count. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. And
There we
this
go.
is hit
2
hard to the right
strikes.
side, but
Let's try that curveball now. Build some confidence in
and
it.
the 0-2 pitch.
Oh, that was a good pitch. You still got to be happy about that one.
Tried to get him to chase that 0-2 curveball there, but he wasn't biting. Very well could see it again here, though.
This is hit high in the air out toward left center. Blackmon is going to have room out there as he puts this away to retire the side. Red Sox strike for a run thanks to the Dustin Pedroia blast. Bottom of the first.
All right, let's get back to hitting now, and hopefully I can tack on some runs. It was so good in that first game. Charlie Blackmon, 236 average.
On its way. Down and in here, 1 ball, no strikes. The windup and the 1-0 pitch. And that pitch misses in the dirt, and it's 2-0 now. Porcello, it's a guy who throws a lot of strikes, rarely walks people.
2-0 count. Give me something good. Ah, man.
Matt, this is a
Lazy
guy that's
fly
not a
into
power
center.
Type of pitcher, so he needs to rely on being down in the strike zone. One of the keys he tends to lose being aggressive when he falls behind, and he kind of nibbles around the strike zone. And what happens with that?
So where should I have Nick Gordon start this season? On the bench in the majors or at AAA? I feel like he's not going to get a ton of playing time this year. It's falling in. Average goes up. So it might be better to have him play again at AAA, maybe get called up later in the year.
And at first for him following the 1-out single. Becomes set. Here's the 0-0 pitch.
Oh,
Breaking ball
hung that
for a strike.
breaking ball.
Hey, boys, you talk about
Swung
getting
right
your
through
base
it.
Swing off. That's what it looks like right there. A guy with massive power letting it.
Late swing.
Skied into straightaway right. And
Why do you keep the commentary on for baseball and basketball when you do not for football? I don't really know. I turned it off for basketball, but I think I keep it on for baseball because sometimes I struggle with some pronunciations, so it helps out there.
high fastball that time.
And also the commentary can be pretty insightful. Like I'll listen to some of it when I'm actually playing an episode, and they might say one or two things that are like relevant, whether it be a milestone or some sort of stat.
And it's fouled away.
So I find it somewhat useful.
Runner at first with 2 gone.
Whereas for football, I just don't need it at all.
A ball and 2 strikes now.
Now that's when you know it's a good pitch. He broke off a really nice breaking ball down in the zone right there. And even though this is one of the best hitters around, he waved right through it.
Curveball bounces, and this one gets away.
Nice try.
And he'll make it into scoring position here with 2 away, as that'll be scored.
What would you say is the biggest change in the new MLB game? It's definitely the Road to the Show progression system. And in that now, you no longer earn points for your success to upgrade your player. You will automatically get progress based on how you play. So, instead of getting points for fielding and hitting, and then upgrading whatever you feel like, now if you want to get your power up versus left-handed pitching, you have to demonstrate power versus left-handed pitching. So that means you have to use your power swing against lefties. You have to hit extra base hits, and then those ratings go up. It does fundamentally change Road to the Show, I think, for the better. Oh, Sano couldn't get there. That's the biggest change. The second, I'd say, maybe is just improved servers for online play.
You don't see that happen too often. A lot of things have to go right.
Matt Pierre, new episode was posted on my second channel today, a couple hours ago. Out of the Park Baseball is going to be posted after this stream.
Red Sox on top in the early going, 1-0 as we play the second.
Yo,
Short hop, and he's there just before
did
the
Pablo
tag.
Sandoval just get a stolen base off of me?
Now a
Why?
fastball, but that's easy to lay off.
Come on.
2-2.
Right there is
Pablo
temptation.
Sandoval just stole on me.
Oh, and while
And
we
now I
watch
hit
that
somebody.
pitch
I'm
away,
falling
it ended up
apart.
hitting him. So he'll head down to first on the hit by pitch.
First baseman, Henley Ramirez.
Below the knees, 1 ball, no strikes.
Love the fact that he's not scared to go right back inside with another fastball. I know he hit the last guy, but if he's going to have success, he's got to establish that pitch in.
Number 73 is there, and he has it for the out. Next up for the Red Sox, Dan Butler, as he'll get his first opportunity in this one. Oh, had him chopping at that one.
That's right up there now with Amari Cooper telling me no. Pablo Sandoval stole a base on me. He might have been safe even if the throw was caught cleanly. Like, let's go back and check.
So here's Joe Mount.
Let's go to the replay, Volt. Here's Pablo Sandoval stealing a base on me. You know, the lead is whatever. Gets a decent jump. Not a bad reaction time. And he's hustling to second. Throw is there. Okay, he should be out. He should be out. I apologize. But we, wait a minute. The ball is in his glove in the replay. I'm confused now. Alright, never mind. The replay will not help us out.
First pitch of the at-bat.
Here is Joe Mauer.
That changeup makes him jump, a swing and a miss.
Hey, you don't see a hitter of his caliber come outside the zone too much. He's super aggressive right now. Let's see if he nibbles a little further off the plate.
Off the plate and in. It's a ball and a strike.
Yes, I have heard of the new college football game In the Process, Gridiron Champions.
1-1.
I'll probably have a lot more interest in it when we can kind of see a proof of concept. But I hope they can get a game made, absolutely.
To 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
And what I have seen from them, what they have shared is impressive.
Here now the 2-2.
There we go. Deep left.
Benintendi is there,
Caught.
and he makes the catch for the out.
Batting sixth. Second
The
base.
next
And
play,
Josh Harrison's turn now.
He'll get to take his first cuts here. First pitch coming. Here it is. First pitch curveball swung on and missed. Strike one. Harrison, often known as J-Hay around the game. He was taken in the 6th round during the 2008 draft.
Pick for March Madness. Give me Loyola. I don't want to see anything else happen.
This has turned out to be a really nice pick.
And there's a pitch that just misses the inside corner. The 2-1
Josh
home.
Harrison, 2-1 count.
Heading out towards
Not the
shallow
best
right. Betts has
pitch
the
to
read
swing
on
at
it.
there, really,
Got it.
especially ahead in the
Two
count.
down now.
Batting seventh,
Now at the plate, Eddie Rosario. Trying to make something happen with 2 gone in the bottom of the 2nd. First pitch on its way.
I had a home run with Rosario in that first game.
Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. And the changeup is way low that time.
Ooh.
Fastball, and he swings through it to fall behind.
Do you see Daniel Palka being a key part of this team moving forward?
That's him looking at the release for the
Probably not a
strikeout.
key part of this team.
Twins are set.
A good power bat off the bench, yes.
Brock Holt
Leading off for
looking to
Boston.
put the ball in play here. He went down on strikes in his first at bat. And oh, look out! Up and in and nearly.
I
took
forget what his
head
numbers were last year. I think they were pretty good.
They have to work inside, and
I don't
sometimes
think
even
Loyola's going to win the
keep hitters from
championship,
getting
but that's
comfortable
exactly
out
what I'll be
there. I
cheering
think that was
for.
part of the intent with that last pitch.
to third. Throw to first in time.
Just like I was going to cheer for UMBC.
Number 15, second baseman.
Here's the second baseman.
I
now,
want
Dustin
chaos.
Pedroia.
I want upsets.
He had to be looking for something else to start the at-bat. It's 0-1.
Wow, not sure what that was, but talking about having your mind made up, you're going to swing before the pitcher even throws a pitch. I don't know how you swing at that pitch.
And there's ball 2 now. The 2-1 home. Hit out towards second.
There we go.
By Harrison. Throw on to first. He'll take care of Pedroia, and there are 2 away.
Now batting.
Here's
Mookie Betts' turn.
First offering on its way. Grounded to short.
One pitch
Gordon
and
comes
an
up
out.
with it. Throw to first will get him easily, and the side is
When do I
retired.
think opening day rosters come out? If I had to guess, I'd say maybe late this week or
Minnesota,
weekend.
number 43,
But
ready to get his
hard
man.
for me to really know.
Started right
I haven't
here.
followed the rosters.
Number 43.
First offering on its way. Line
Turned
drive
on that
left.
one. And again, my line drives in the outfield are right at somebody.
As this is hauled in for the first out.
Batting ninth. Right fielder.
3-4, 4-3. I prefer 4-3, especially because most teams spend their time now in the nickel, and that's a 4-man front in most cases. So I'm just like, if you're not in your base very often, why not just stick 4-3 and not really change much up?
The center fielder.
Ready for another chance.
But
Blackmon. He flew
I
out
like,
to his last
I don't think
at-bat.
3-4 is really flawed in any way. It's a different style defense. Different, you want different types of defensive linemen for 3-4. Both can work really well against the run or getting to the quarterback.
Takes a
Really
fastball
depends on
the
your personnel.
inside corner.
He's looking
But if I were to
really
build a
great
team
on the
from
bump
scratch,
right
I
now.
would build them to be a
it's been
4-3 team.
while since he's allowed a base runner, and he just jumped ahead of another hitter right there.
This is
In
in
the
the
right
air
center
to
now.
Does he have another 1, 2, 3?
Can I
for the
please
Ledger?
get something
He
to fall?
does. 8 in a row he's set down, and the side is retired. Digging in to try it again.
Leading off
Sander
for the
Bo-
Red-
Give me one more inning, Gary Tadano, and then I'm getting Jose Barrios ready, who actually has decent stats this spring.
First pitch coming. Here it is. Swing and a little tapper. That's a foul ball. Down the third baseline.
Look at Sano with the play across the diamond.
On to first is low that
What's your
time.
thoughts on the
Goldschmidt's able to
3-3-5 or
hang with it, and he
4-2-5
takes it
look?
out. A
Well,
nice
4-2-5
play.
is basically your standard nickel.
Left-handed hitting
You
in
can
for
have, you know,
Benintendi stands in.
your edge rushers standing or whatever you want there, so I'm obviously fine with that. 3-3-5, I think, is good with the right defensive lineman.
Dan, that can't bother you too much as a pitcher. guys swinging first
You also
pitch.
need to have a linebacker
You
that's,
have to try to get ahead
you know,
with the first
a
pitch. You wanna
threat
throw
off the
one of
edge for that
first
to
two
work
pitches
too.
to strikes. Unfortunately, sometimes when you bring the ball in the strike zone, you're bound to
Oh,
give up
wow.
some base hits.
That was
but
a mess.
hopefully he can minimize the damage here.
But yeah, I like all sorts of different nickel options. There's teams that run the 1-5-5. We've seen that. Just getting speed and athleticism out there, and they'll run all kinds of twists. Just try to create confusion.
And looks like he got the call there on the pitch inside. It's 0-1. Sandoval, the runner at second with one away. And Bradley swings and misses at that offering, and he's deep in the hole, 0-2. A little bit off the outside.
Let's see if I can get through the rest of this with Tadano. I don't want to allow any more runs. High fly ball, maybe a tag. Missed the last one. Now Rosario got it. Cool Ranch or Nacho Cheese Doritos? Cool Ranch all the way.
Stepping in and ready for another shot, Hanley Ramirez. So far 0 for 1 with a flyout. Lifted in the air to center field. Blackmon is under it. And that's the third out.
What do you think of the Sioux signing?
Red Sox settle for just
Oh
the
man,
one.
it's so scary. Him and Aaron Donald together on the same defense.
And they'll need him to get something going here.
Quarterbacks are not safe. The NFLPA needs to step in and say that this should be illegal. It's bad for our players' union because the quarterbacks are all going to get hurt playing against the Rams.
So the base is empty.
They're going to be under constant pressure.
And stepping in, the power-hitting first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. First offering on its
What's
way.
up, Goldie? I have one hit today. That's all? Make it 2.
And Goldschmidt's aboard. It's a base hit.
Hey, that was a well-executed pitch down and away. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to the offense. That's a nice piece of hit. Maybe not
For my franchise, do you think I should try to get Gerald McCoy or Dontari Poe? I think McCoy is the better player.
Here's Miguel Sano. As he'll take a look at ball 1. He was a strikeout victim in his first try.
What do you think of the new NFL lowering head rule? I want to see how it's actually going to play. How are they going to enforce it? Because, I mean, think of if holding wasn't a penalty and they were to make it a penalty. There's technically holding on every play, but they don't enforce it that way. So how are they going to enforce this penalty? I guess we can all, you know, talk about how afraid we are about the new rule all we want, but we don't know how it's going to be enforced yet.
That is way too high. He's going to have to lower his sights.
It's not like they call every penalty by the book every time. They don't call defensive holding that way. They don't call pass interference that way. Offensive holding.
You do that, and everything's going to be fine. In that strikeout, he never threw the same pitch twice in a row, and he won the battle because of it.
Grounded up the first baseline. This gets foul. It's 0-1. Hit it hard, but lined out in his first at-bat.
Oh, and 2 here to Joe Mauer. I'll have to go contact swing.
And a fastball just a bit up.
Hey, I can understand why he wanted to elevate.
But yeah, it looks like now anybody who lowers their head in initiating contact at any position now could be flagged.
Hit to first. He's right there, and he'll step
And on paper, that sounds like you'd see a flag every play. But they're not going to do that.
digging in for
I don't know
his
what
second
they're going to
at-bat,
do, though.
and Butler comes into this at-bat 0 for 1 in the ballgame. First delivery.
I want to get
to him on the
Barrios
way.
in. I'll go one more batter here with Tadano.
We're moving along in this one, heading into the middle innings. This guy continuing to pitch well, and one of the reasons why.
Almost got it.
Over 70% up to this point in this game.
Nice ending
And
here.
missed. Really fooled him that time for the first
How
out.
many wins are the Browns going to get this upcoming year? I'm going to say the Browns have a very interesting 5-11 season.
But that's the way you do it.
they're going to have a really fun roster. I'll tell you that. They'll be a better Madden team than a real-life team, in my opinion. But I'm a big believer in continuity on rosters, and I think it takes a lot of time for some teams to learn how to play with one another. I think you do need to develop that chemistry, and it doesn't happen overnight. So they're going to keep bringing in a lot of new young players, and at the same time, they have a coaching staff that might not be the right coaching staff for that team. So consider the coaching might not be great, and then you have all these players getting acclimated with one another. There's no smooth transition in my eyes. But I could see them, 5 to 7 wins.
You know, he fell behind 2-0, Matty, but he battled right there and got right back in this count. An aggressive fastball middle of the zone.
He's fallen behind now, 3-1. Waiting next is Dustin Pedroia. Line to the right side, but that's a foul ball.
There we go. Got him to chase it.
So it's 2 up, 2 down to start the 5th.
Are the Ravens, Orioles good franchise choices? I'm from Baltimore and would love to bring the city back to success. Yeah, I think both teams would be good options. The AL East is never going to be easy with the near $500,000 the Red Sox and Yankees spend to field their teams. And the Blue Jays roster doesn't suck either. As far as the Ravens go, I mean, they haven't really been a dominant team in a while. You could definitely look to upgrade over Joe Flacco and give them an offense they can actually be proud of. They've never been known for their offense. To me, when I think of the Baltimore Raven offense like at their best, I think of like Steve Smith and his impact that was brought there.
They're up 2-0.
That'd be a fun project, though, to be doing something with the Orioles and the Ravens and trying to build up the city of Baltimore.
First pitch coming, here it is. Line
Into the gap, maybe? Caught, like every other line drive I've hit. 5-11 season for the Cleveland Browns, now with Hugh Jackson as their head coach. I think that Cleveland will improve immeasurably. If Jackson was fired, agree or disagree? I would agree. 1 win in 2 years at a professional level, that's just inexcusable.
And quickly, there are 2 away.
That's why I said 5 wins. I think you can have the wrong coaching staff and still win 5 games.
Number 43, 0 for 1 for him here in this one.
Keep in mind they're in the AFC, so 12 of their games are against the AFC. And I don't think the AFC is a very good conference. I don't know who all their opponents are, but I'm guessing their average opponent isn't as good as, what an NFC team is going to deal with. What do I think of Johnny Football's comeback? I mean, I'm up for a good comeback story. I'd like to see it all work out, but until a team shows enough interest to sign him, I guess it's all speculation.
You know, you look at this hitter, he doesn't care about being down 0-1. He doesn't care about having 2 strikes with him. He's got the utmost confidence.
What do you think of Lamar Jackson? Do you think he'll play quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely, and I think he'll play quarterback really well.
Leadoff man's retired here to begin the 6th. Here's Xander Bogaerts now. He was a ground out victim last time up.
I am definitely a Lamar Jackson fan.
1-0.
I've been watching some of the quarterbacks lately.
Change up in for a strike. 2 runs, 3 hits.
I've had the joy of watching Sam Darnold's throwing motion more than I'd like to. That's gone. Hung a curveball.
In the air out to deep left field. And out of here.
So I think whoever gets Sam Darnold is getting maybe the best passer in the draft. Like Darnold is, I love the velocity on his throws, and his ball placement tends to be very good. But that throwing motion probably needs to be worked on. You can have a weird motion as long as it's fast. I'm just not sure his is fast enough. Josh Rosen, definitely, I like his mechanics overall. For Rosen, I'm a little worried about some of his throws downfield with the air he puts under his ball at times. I feel like Rosen might be throwing some of the prettiest interceptions you've ever seen. I feel like defensive backs might really enjoy playing against him. I still like them both,
Fastball,
but
and
this is
looks like they're
nitpicking
pinching
season,
a
isn't it?
bit here. It's 3-1. Yanked on the ground down the line, but this will wind up foul as he runs the count full now. Hit out towards second.
Rosen likes to throw the touch passes, though, and he can throw them really well. I just wonder if that's going to hurt him a lot early on in his NFL career.
Now pitching for the Red Sox.
The next twin up, number 73. He's 0 for 1 thus far.
Yeah, I do think Cleveland should take a quarterback number 1. Their favorite one, the one they believe can be the franchise quarterback. I don't think that you can wait till 4, because if you wait till 4, I think 3 quarterbacks are off the board. And how are you going to let a franchise-altering decision come down to what those other teams do? Doesn't make any sense. Quarterback's going number 1.
1-1, here it comes. And there's one well above the zone for a ball. And now Boston's bullpen springs into action, a left-hander and a right-hander.
I need to watch some Baker Mayfield. I think I'm going to watch some of him later on today. I've watched a little bit of Josh Allen. The inaccuracy is definitely a thing. He will make some really great throws along the boundary, too, which is important for a pro. You've got to be able to make those throws outside the numbers, and he can, but it's just how many is he going to miss?
Lifted the other way to left center.
I do think you can have legitimate conversation about the talent around him at Wyoming, but that doesn't excuse inaccuracy. There really isn't room for you to be inaccurate in the NFL. Think of how tough is it to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL? It's very tough, and there are a lot more openings for that job than there are people who actually are qualified.
Standing in now, Nick Gordon, as the first pitch to him is swung on and missed for strike 1. Clearly trying to control the running game with the slide step here.
Yeah, that's a good way of trying to control the running game, Matt. The problem with it, though, it has a tendency to throw your command off because you're worrying about that runner on base.
What pieces do the Bears need to improve or make it to the playoffs? They need Mitchell Trubisky to take a major leap in his second year. And the way I look at it, he almost didn't even play his rookie year because he was just handing the ball off all the time. There wasn't really much passing to do. They had a bunch of slot receivers out there. Not anymore, though, obviously. Getting Allen Robinson is huge. I wonder if they're going to keep Cam Meredith, like I did.
You know, as a former infielder, Danny, they always say you can't be in 2 places at once, but you got to be a little frustrated right here that ball found the hole.
Yeah, that's a tough thing.
Who do you think Arizona will draft? As that's another sharply hit line drive. If I had to guess for Arizona, I'd say Lamar Jackson. I don't think Jackson goes top 7 or 8 picks in those first quarterback selections. I think Arizona wants to draft one, and I think they'd take Lamar Jackson.
Off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike.
What team will be the surprise package in the offense next year in a good way? A pleasant surprise?
So 1-1 home. But a good play by the first
I am so unlucky right now.
Twin strand of pair. They trail in this
A pleasant surprise. I think the Bears could be a pleasant surprise because of the talent they've added and the coaching they've added. I like both.
It was a fly out for him in his last trip. And that's dead center for strike 1.
That pitch was right down the heart of the plate, but obviously this guy had made up his mind on the on-deck circle. He was taken all the way, and he was going to zone him up.
Therefore, it is Blackmon.
Any other surprises, I think? Nothing too bold.
No hits in 2 trips to the plate for him in the ball game. And a strike called at the knees. Nothing in 1.
I love to say the Buccaneers again, but wow, I touted them all off-season last year, and they let me down. I'll have to see if they do enough to that defense, because if that's not getting better, it doesn't matter. The NFC's too competitive. You can't afford to be a one-dimensional team in the NFC anymore.
Here now the 2-2. He's offered
He went around.
chased it for strike 3.
Who are the Colts taking at 6? I'd love for it to be Bradley Chubb, but him falling all the way to 6 does seem a little iffy to me. If they don't get Bradley Chubb, I'd love to see them add someone like Roquan Smith. Regardless, I want it to be a defensive playmaker.
And a pitch in the dirt as he lays off. It's 1-1. The 1-1 home. Here's a fastball that misses. Bases are empty here with 2 men out.
I'm probably going to finish this game and then sim a handful and then end the stream.
Now
Oh boy, into left.
That gets down and the
So a
inning
single
continues.
quick. He wants to stretch it with 36 speed.
And he will
Okay.
pull into second with a 2-out double.
As we look again at that double here, you can see
Edmonds is only 19 right now. That's crazy to me. Yeah. I really hope he doesn't go to the wrong team.
to beat the throw to second.
I think a big part of whether draft prospects work out or not are the fit.
2-out thunder off the
Like,
bench as he'll hit with a runner at second and 2 away.
you know, would Carson Wentz be the same quarterback in Cleveland? Would he be the same quarterback, you know, with any other team? I think the coaching and the entire domino effect, the players around them, the veterans they learn from, I think that all plays a major part in what these players end up being. So I hope that he gets the right fit because he's such a talented player. He's so young, and if he gets in the right spot, he could be a generational talent for a decade.
Back with more from the great.
Now pitching for the Red Sox. Number
Tampa at 7.
Brad.
I don't think Chubb will be there, so I won't say Chubb. They added, obviously, Jason Pierre-Paul. So I could see them going cornerback again and trying to get that fixed. So maybe Denzel Ward.
To try to get on base and ignite a rally.
It's funny. That pitch, I can picture being in the box. That pitch looks so good to hit, and why does no one ever get to it? A good executed high fastball usually blows 9 out of 10 guys away.
Where does Quentin Nelson go? He's got to go super early.
Basic pitching right there. 0-2 fastball up and out of the zone. Change the eye level. Now time to go to that curveball down and away.
Neither guy willing to give in, and the at-bat will continue.
If the Bucks draft Derwin, I'll cry because I want Dallas to trade up for him so bad. Derwin James.
And here's a swing and a miss by Mauer as he's down on
I
strikes
feel like
for the
Quentin
first
Nelson
out.
might slide out of the top 10. The only way I could see that happen is if we have like 4 quarterbacks go top 10. You have to have Bradley Chubb go up there.
Here's the first offering. This one's down to third.
Who else needs to be up there? Roquan Smith, maybe Tremaine Edmonds.
Gets him. That's a nice play.
I think there's a scenario where it happens, but I don't think it does.
Ready for another shot now. Eddie Rosario. His career line against Brad Hand. He's a .333 hitter. First pitch of the at-bat on its way. Swinging a ball hit softly on the ground. 2 out.
Maybe Nelson Broncos, maybe, if you believe when they say they think Keenum is their guy. That's the one wild card, I think. A team that could draft a quarterback that won't. And if they're not willing to move up, they might not get their favorite quarterback. So I think you could be right. Remember, they did go and get Keenum and not even bother in the Kirk Cousins pursuit. So that to me says they have a pretty important interest in Case
He's
Keenum.
turned himself into a really nice ball player. I wouldn't put him on the superstar level.
And if they're not getting the first, second, third pick at a quarterback, Quentin Nelson might go to Denver and fix up some O-line issues they've had for years.
Set the deal on 2-2. And he turns on one.
That's going hard to right. Rosario off the wall with 2 outs.
And he is into second with a 2-out double.
Wow, he puts a serious charge into this ball.
Do you think there will be a quarterback controversy in Saxonville because Kessler got traded there?
And he cruises into
Uh,
second, knowing he can't hit the ball much harder than
I
that.
do kind of like Cody
Driving in once
Kessler.
again, number 43. And
I don't
this
know,
could be
that's
a
an
real
interesting
make or break
question.
Situation at this point in the game.
Yeah, Matt, at least scoring 1 run in this inning is so important to them to possibly get back into this thing. Baseball doesn't have a clock.
If you are the
but you
Colts
only
and
have
Saquon,
27
Nelson, and
outs to
Chubb
work
are
with.
there,
They're
who
running
do
out
they
of those pretty
take?
quick.
I think Chubb.
Now a
Just
fastball
because
off the
they
plate
need
away,
edge
ball
rush
and
help.
strike.
You're not
There
getting
is a
far
base
without
open
it.
here, so the option to
And
walk around him is there if they want to go.
while obviously Saquon Barkley is the exciting talent,
Popped him up.
running back isn't so important that I think you can pass on a player like
And the
Chubb.
inning is over.
And then Quentin Nelson, I don't think guard is as impactful as an edge
Eighth inning
rusher.
coming up. It's the Red Sox 3 and the Twins nothing.
We can talk BPA, but not all positions are the same value.
Danny Santana is going to be asked to get things going here as a lead off the top.
Number 40, Danny Santana.
Too high that
I
time.
love your
The inning's
streams. It
first
keeps me
pitch,
entertained in
ball one.
Cali traffic.
The 1-0.
Oh, man. I'm just
Swing and
picturing
a
that.
little blooper to center. Coming in is Blackmon.
Oh, over his head? That's awkward.
Oh, and this goes right past
No!
him. And he's
I'm
gonna
getting
get to
unlucky in this
second
game,
now.
right? Like, y'all vouch for me.
Last pitch was a fast
You'll
ball.
vouch for me on that, right?
With the same
I'm getting very unlucky.
Nice piece of hit.
Number 25, Cody.
I need to see that replay again because I can't believe it.
Blackmon is under it. 1 down.
Oh,
The
man.
relay throw, and
Should
he'll
not
get
have gone
into
relay
third
there.
here on the fly out, so he's 90 feet away.
I think
He's
that
gone.
when you're talking about the draft and the debate over need and BPA, I really do look at each pick as kind of a unique situation, and there isn't a one-size-fits-all rule. I think when you let needs linger, they come back to hurt you. And I don't believe in drafting BPA every single time. I think you do need to make sure that your weaknesses get stronger. I think you need to make sure you have depth at what you're good at so that when a player gets hurt, you don't have to change your entire identity. I think that building a team is so much more complex than BPA. Charlie, just grab it. Oh, you almost had it. I tend to be more of a need guy if it's urgent, or if it's not. Like, say you have a need for like,
This is line to left.
oh,
And this will be
whoa,
just what the manager ordered
There's
as
a
he's
little bit
off
of
the
a-
bench with extra bases.
like in-game frame rate or something there.
Pulls
I don't
into
know.
second safely as a run will score on the
But
play as well.
I think I tend to lean a little more in the need direction.
Yeah, you've got to
But
find a way to
say
pick
it's
teammates
not
up
the most
when you're given
crucial
a chance, and
positions,
he doesn't try to
which
do too
all you have to
much
do
right
is
here.
see who
He
are the
just takes
highest
what's
paid
there.
players at these
Safety on
positions, and the
second,
NFL will
plenty of
tell you
time for
directly
teammates
what the
in
most
the
important
dugout.
positions are and which are not.
Now.
So say you have a choice between like a middle linebacker, a safety, and a guard. Maybe then you go BPA. Those would be the three positions that the NFL would not value as much as tackle, quarterback, receiver.
Oh, and he can't catch up
That's
to the
when I'd start
fastball.
looking more at
Swings and
BPA,
misses for the
or
second.
if I was feeling very
Big
good about my
advantage is
roster.
to pitching ahead in account if you're a pitcher, because you have to cover both pitches if you're a hitter. You have to cover the off speed and the fastball. And in a 1-2 count, you might be sitting off speed, and what happens? He gets the fastball, and he can't catch up to the express.
Rounded down the third baseline. Well, that'll get fouled. It's 0-2 now.
Almost got him there, trying to get through one more inning.
Lifted the other way out to left center. Chasing after it is Rosario.
I scored a lot of runs in the first game of this stream, I promise. When are you going to get a big free agency signing in the Bears franchise? I would prefer you ask Amari Cooper that question. I'll try again next year.
Game now as he comes on to play second here.
The problem with reaching for the need, you draft a dude and you don't pan out. Well, that's another conversation then about reaching.
Go ahead and stay in the ball game and
Like,
play
how
second
early do
now.
you take a certain players?
Number
Franklin
39,
Barreto is also
It's so
in the game as
nuanced.
he
There
takes
isn't really a
over short.
one-size-fits-all rule,
McAllen
really.
is into the ball game as well as he takes over.
Some people, you know, their whole philosophy is BPA.
73, A defensive change for the Red
First
Sox.
pitch coming. Here it
Now
is.
playing
It's
right
not
field.
mine.
Swing and a miss at a
Number
ball
83.
down. And some action now in the Boston bullpen as the right-handers up and throwing.
A defensive change for the Red Sox.
And I think teams tell you they're drafting BPA way more than they actually do. To me, that is just a guise under which they can say they're drafting the best talent so they can put their organization in the best situation.
1-1.
Yet you have teams obviously drafting to fix their biggest needs all the time.
Throw against his body. And a great athletic play to get him. Man, wow.
Center fielder number 19, Charlie
So the lineup
Blackmon.
flips over and
The
digging in.
rules are usually broken for
He
quarterback,
singled his last time up.
and I think most would agree. BPA if it's not a quarterback. I think a lot of people would agree on that anyway.
Ball one.
But I don't think teams even follow that philosophy at all. No way.
And he watches one miss outside. 2-0 now.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I see it incorrectly.
2-0, here it is. Bouncer to the left side.
If so, I'll adapt.
Gets through.
Well, that's not how I see it.
Again on his second base hit of the game.
Now batting. The
Digging in
shortstop,
once again, Nick Gordon.
Gordon.
Here's the first pitch to him. And a changeup here misses off the.
How does a
corner.
draft
Timeout.
board
Ball
look?
one.
Well, I can't say I'm familiar with teams' draft
One
boards.
thing only. Get a double play ball. Nice
I'm
job
sure they
of
have some sort of a horizontal draft board. Those are usually popular constructs. I've seen a lot of scouts, like blog scouts, create them, showing, you know, here are the first round guards we like, second round, third round, fourth round. But you have to have some sort of a big board too, so you can compare a guard to a defensive end or whatever.
Now he'll probably have to challenge.
Down low, and the plot thickens here. 3-0.
Trying to make a comeback here, or at least score a run.
He's set. Here's the 3-0.
I got 2 on now.
That one for ball
How long have you been streaming for? Just about 2 hours. We're going to wrap up after this game, but it's been fun. Really enjoying MLB The Show 18 and playing spring training here.
Yeah, Matt, they've been really shut
And the
down
streams
so
have been a
far.
good
This one
time,
they've
too. I
had
enjoy the
runners on
conversation
base,
back and
but
forth.
haven't been able to string anything together.
Left side.
No.
Cleanly.
No.
And from deep in the hole,
Okay.
a jump throw to second. To second for one. On to Goldschmidt, but too late. As
Thank you for the super chat, Skitter. How do you feel about the Vikings versus Eagles as first game of the 2018 season? Not excited about it. Not what I like to see to open the year.
First pitch of the at-bat on its way. In the dirt and blocked behind the plate.
I'm always going to like assume the Super Bowl champion will be the favorite in those games. Doesn't always play out that way though, perfectly. The Patriots lost last year and it wasn't even that competitive.
1-1.
He struggled quite a bit at the plate in this one, so until he shows he can put a good swing on the ball, I don't think they're going to give him anything straight that he can handle.
Had him off
But
the
Kirk
right
Cousins
side.
in his very
1-2.
first game
Hey,
against
that's
that
a really good
defense,
pitch right there, and that's
I
one of
would have
those
preferred
off
something a
balance
little
swings as a
easier in week
pitcher,
1.
You want to look in and say, howdy, if you're waving at me. A real ugly swing, and it gives you a lot of confidence when you make a guy look that bad. So hopefully he has another
I bet the
pitch left in
Vikings
his
played better than
repertoire
last
to
time,
bury
though.
this guy and get him out of there.
To 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
Yep, the stream will be up on my channel afterwards. Might take a little bit for it to process, but it'll be up for you to watch if you missed anything.
Hammered the
High and hard by Sano. It's got a chance. There are 3 runs. 4-3. If I didn't screw up earlier, this game would be tied right now. But there are 3 runs for us.
So a 3-run shot to right center field as it's trimmed to a 4-3 game now.
They seem to forget that the game started a while ago, but better late than never, I guess. Sometimes one big hit is all it takes to get
Can
it
I get
going.
one more?
We'll see if they can build on it and make a run here.
Tyler Thornburg is out from the bullpen here as he'll be making his 5th appearance this spring training. A fastball that just misses inside. Lifetime numbers against Thornburg. He's
Joe Mauer's turn now. With 2 down. Ah.
Is a changeup that gets him off balance for a strike.
The low off-speed stuff has gotten me all day.
A 2-ball, 1-strike count to the Twins' first baseman. Thornburg.
I want to see you land 5-star recruits. I'm telling you, I tried my hardest in year 6, and it just didn't work out. I will attempt again with some, but not as aggressive as last year. All right. One more inning, maybe.
Bradley now.
Leading off for the Red Sox, center fielder
Jake Reed.
Here's Jake Reed.
Start the 9th inning as he'll try to keep the score right where it is heading to the bottom of the 9th.
Good start.
Towards straightaway center. Harrison has a play, 1 away.
now batting, the first baseman, Hanley Ramirez.
Digging in, Hanley Ramirez. He was punched out looking at strike 3 last time through.
Focus on your pipeline states. Yeah, if I'm going to go for a 4 or 5-star prospect, I think I have to stick to the pipeline so I have a better chance. And obviously, California, that's a great pipeline. I can find good prospects there.
And that one just missed outside. Here it is, the 3-0. That misses for ball 4. Down to first goes Ramirez.
Would I ever consider doing a blockbuster trade for someone like Harper or Judge? Well, the way those trades usually happen aren't my style. Giving up a lot to get a lot. Not really what I do. Judge is not a superstar in my franchise because my rosters are from before he really took off last year. He's like a mid-70s A potential in this, which, you know, is reasonable for where he was to start last year, but obviously he became a very different player. But my franchise doesn't account for that. Alright, we gotta do this against Craig Kimbrell, everybody. Can we tie the game here, bottom of the 9th inning? Four-seam, knuckle curve, two-seam.
First pitch on its way. And here's a first pitch curveball that bounces on him there. It's ball 1. Now the 1-0 is swung on and missed, and that's strike 1. The 1-1.
Turned on it. I thought I hit it a little bit sharper.
The left fielder, number 20.
Up next for Minnesota, Eddie Rosario. Was a 2-back.
We're going to bring in Nelson Cruz. I was watching your videos of Minnesota Dynasty Season 4, and you said Matt Pierre was only a signing for depth. I never thought he'd be a star. And then he proved me wrong. And now I have a Madden series about him having a Hall of Fame career.
Kimbrell, a right-hander who stands an even 6 feet. He was selected in the 3rd round during the 2008 draft.
Oh, man.
Sure what this guy was going to become.
That one I needed to lay off of.
One of the superstars in the game. What an absolute steal coming out of the middle rounds.
That
Close.
Misses 1 and 2. 1 out, nobody on.
Oh, I tried to hold back. Couldn't do it.
And he makes the throw to first.
It looks like a good pitch until it's not.
Number 40
Is up to our backup catcher, who has a 435 average in the spring. All right, Garver, you go yard here, and the job's yours. Favorite mobile quarterback, Russell Wilson. I really like Russell Wilson.
First delivery to him on the way. And that one just missed outside. The win would belong to Rick Porcello, barring any late excitement here. The 1-0 is taken for ball 2.
How did the Gophers have access to good recruits compared to Kalispell? It was easier from like for some different pitches. Like some recruits care about championship contender, and that's just easier with a team in the Big Ten that was, you know, like an 80 overall to start out with. I had to build up to get to that point, so now I'm kind of getting that boost, but it's taken a long time. So unless that's dropped, game over. Also for Kalispell, for whatever reason, even though we might be a decent fit for players, they just haven't had a lot of interest in us. Other teams are running away with the recruiting battles. I'm not sure what all goes into it, but it has been really tough to recruit the 5 stars compared to in Minnesota. Are you through with Teddy? I'm never through with Teddy until he retires. I hope he does well in New York, but it sounds like there's still a lot of doubt about his overall health. And when you consider that, it's obvious why the Vikings had to go in a different direction. But I really hope Teddy can have a great rebound in his career. Simming a few more games here. All the way to the 20th. So, I want to see what our numbers look like now. Looks like Lance Lynn maybe had a little bit of trouble here. Yeah, 4 runs in less than 4 innings and 4 walks. Alvarez definitely had a rebounding start here. That's good. How many innings did he throw? 5 innings, no earned runs. Alright, so I have a few more games. I'm going to want to play some of these on my own and throw up the spring training video here in the next couple days. So here are the numbers so far as I decide on, you know, different roles on the team and what things are going to look like. The best batting average, Eduardo Escobar. Let's go by most hits. We have Yunel Escobar with 20. Nelson Cruz with 20, hitting 370. That's incredible. Josh Harrison hitting 281 with 18 hits. Charlie Blackmon struggling a little bit more. Paul Goldschmidt, 242, 7 homers. Eddie Rosario, just 215. Miguel Sano, 191. Eduardo Escobar hitting 400. Nick Gordon doing well. He's got to get some more playing time. Mitch Garver, he's probably going to be our backup catcher. Jorge Polanco, Joe Mauer, Willie Ordonez. Might need some more time in the minors still. That's okay. Jason Castro is ice cold. He's one of our highest paid players too. Buxton's very cold. Granite 316. And Justin O'Connor. I think that equates to 1 hit and 19 trips. Oh, it does. 1 hit. And then for pitchers, going by innings pitched, Dallas Keuchel has been better. Almost a strikeout per inning. 4.34 ERA. It's getting better. Yadier Alvarez in a cold streak right now, but had a good start in his last time out. Maxwell Fowler, 3.15 ERA. Good chance he's on our opening day roster. Trevor May doing pretty well out of the pen. Lance Lynn. I like Tyler Duffy as our long relief pitcher. Steven Gonzalez. That's rough. Jose Barrios doing all right. Maybe I start Barrios over Gonzalez then. Wilhelmsen 225. Jake Reed 225. Gary Tadano 159. And then Romero. I have to get Romero some more playing time. Can't forget about him, especially if he hasn't played poorly. So that gives you an idea of how teams or how our players are doing so far. Maxwell Fowler is currently considered the 4th best prospect in Major League Baseball. And then Nick Gordon is 17th. Anyone else at this point? Gary Tadano? No. So we still have only 2 top 50 prospects, but one of the best in Major League Baseball. Benny Yamamoto. He's a 76 right now. Maxwell Fowler is a 76 as well. All right, everybody. That is going to end the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun little baseball stream, and the connection actually wanted to cooperate with me, so we got through the games there pretty cleanly, without a hitch. So, please leave a like on the stream on your way out. Those are much appreciated and are very helpful to the channel. Please subscribe, and then you can check out my second channel, MrHurriicane LP, where I have 2 videos going up today. I have a lot of other series over there you might enjoy. Definitely check out the rest of my content if you enjoy what I bring here in the MLB The Show Twins franchise. But that will end this one. I'll see you all soon. Have a great day.